Desiree with theastrologyaddiction.com, and thank you so much for watching. So today I wanted to do a mini birth chart reading for Jake Paul. So if you are in the internet, if you watch YouTube, if you're a fan of some of the more popular YouTube channels, and especially if you're of the younger generation, then you know probably who Jake Paul is. Logan Paul. Logan Paul was the one that had the suicide forest dilemma. That was a big news story. His little brother, Jake Paul. So the reason I kind of got interested in the psychology, if you will, of Jake Paul is from the Shane Dawson documentary. Shane Dawson has been doing documentaries on a lot of popular YouTubers. This one is all about Jake Paul because Shane Dawson did the documentary, and basically he went through all of the drama on YouTube that has just kind of been covered up, swept under the rug, and that is just sort of stories at this point. Nothing really has been confirmed until now, just openly spoke about. No one was really talking about what was going on, but people just knew there was some tension between the brothers. There was an ex-girlfriend, friend drama, drama with their family, and just some more like strange interactions between the father, mother, and just the whole Paul family. So I will put in a picture of his astrology chart. Again, I use whole sign houses, and this is his chart basically. So he does have a sun in Capricorn, he has a moon in Taurus, and he has a Taurus rising. So this is a lot in this chart. It's definitely pretty interesting. I believe this is a bucket pattern. So all of the planets that are on, the Capricorn, Aquarius, down to his Mars and Libra and Saturn, are being deposited by the moon in Taurus. So the moon in Taurus is very important, but also, Venus is also important because it's ruling the Ascendant in Taurus. And then Saturn in Aries does rule all of those planets that are in Capricorn. So we're just going to be looking at a few things here and try and kind of talk about what, maybe his life has been, what he's been going through, what the more purpose of, things are here, and, who he is. So I think I'm going to start with his Sun and Venus and all of those planets that are in Capricorn. So, like I said, Venus is his ruling planet because Venus rules Taurus, and Taurus is his ascendant. So all of the planets that are in Capricorn, we have Mercury, which is his communication, Venus, his love nature, what he values, what he thinks is important, Neptune, the Sun, which is his ego, his vitality, his purpose for being here, and then Jupiter. So all of those planets are in Capricorn in the 9th house, and they are actually very close to his midheaven in Aquarius. And what that would tell me is that he's going to have a very public personal image, public career life, public persona that will be very large, bigger than life. With Jupiter there, he's going to have a lot of change, fast change. People might love him one day, hate him the next day. A lot of maybe even career changes and different paths that he might take in his life, and they could be sudden changes because it's Uranus. Uranus does things very quickly, rapidly, really without warning. It can give and take. Jupiter as well will, you can win really big and lose really big. So he did say that, he was on the Disney Channel. That's an amazing feat for someone to make, is to be, famous on the Disney Channel. He has Neptune there as well with his sun. So Neptune rules Hollywood, famous for, acting, performing, those kind of things. But that was taken away really quickly, which is, speaks to his Uranus there. And, he also said that due to all of the drama that came out with some of these abuse allegations that they had said his friend maybe attacked a girl that is on their little team or whatever, they made a video about that, and it was public, and I don't know if that was fake, made up. For the most part, it seems like it was more made up from Jake Paul and his friends, that this opponent of theirs choked out like one of their friends or something. It seemed like it was pretty much all fabricated, and due to that, he said that he actually lost $1 million contracts with some companies that were trying to endorse him, promote him, that kind of thing. So that's a huge loss as well. You're up here, you're doing so amazing, and then, something happens in your relationship and you kind of just go, or in your personal relationships, and you react to that publicly, make a video about it, and then you lose a lot of money, a lot of brand deals and things like that. Those are a lot of the things that I really initially see. I also noticed that having your Sun and your Venus and all of those important planets in Capricorn in the 9th house means that you're really going to value money, you're going to value power, you're going to value and really probably excel at management, team building. Those types of things are going to be important to you, and that's definitely played out in his life. He is on the Team 10. He basically had his own company like when he was 18. His brother did as well, and these things were just very prominent for him. Also in the 9th house, that means that your Sun in the 9th house is someone who really is going to love travel, can work abroad even, being that it's so close to the midheaven. You can find a partner when you move away far from home. He said when he was 17 or 18, he quit high school, moved to LA to pursue his dream. That is far from Ohio, where he was born. So that just speaks more to the 9th house things. A lot of people with planets in the 9th house do tend to move far away from home or travel abroad for some reason, for work, for whatever it may be that they choose to do in their life. They want to explore that at some point. And having Venus there also means, in my opinion, it's, ruling the Ascendant. It's also with Mercury, so he's going to value, other people who are also interested in money, power, success. Climbing the corporate ladder is a possibility, or climbing even the social ladder, being that it's Venus. Venus is more social, more loving in nature, so you can even do that through just personal relationships. And it seems like that how he kind of built his little business and company is by finding talent out there and, inviting them to come to LA and to have a relationship with him in some sort, if it was like a friendship or a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, and then help them build their company and kind of build an empire together. Now, you see that Saturn is in Aries, and it's ruling all of these planets. It's actually square to his Mercury and his Venus. That can mean that, there's a psychological wound, especially that Saturn is in the 12th house. There's a wound, or there's something in the back of his mind. Saturn's usually a father figure that's kind of hindering him in some way, telling him, no, you can't do this, telling him, maybe not saying no, but just sort of saying the way that you are communicating or behaving. If don't cry, maybe don't say that, don't act the certain way. You have to be tough, you have to be like Aries, you have to be a warrior, courageous, strong, you have to fight, you have to get what you want through your physical body. You can't just, being emotional, talking your way through things, love even, those types of things can just be kind of feelings that are not easy to feel. Saturn is very cold. It's not a loving planet, or doesn't value relationships very much. It's more about what can I build here? What can I actually create that is long lasting? And for them, it's definitely not love, and it doesn't come easily to express those types of things. So another thing that I would notice is just how Saturn aspects his, Chiron and his Mars. There are a lot of difficult aspects between, those personal planets and Saturn, and that just puts a lot of hindrance on the way somebody behaves. Especially Mars, it can actually give you power to have the strength to really endure through things more so than a typical Libra Mars might, because you are getting that magnetic pull towards Saturn that's like, I need to do this because all of these things are depending on me. All of these people could be depending on me, especially with work. Mars in the 6th house is really concerned with work and concerned with, daily routine, getting up in the morning, being busy, tackling things you want to do. Cardinal signs, Libra's a cardinal sign. They wake up in the morning and they don't say, okay, what's going to happen today? Let's just let life happen to me. No, Mars in Libra goes ahead and says, today this is what I need to do, and I'm going to get there no matter what. I'm going to, plow through whoever I need to get what I want and to do what I want today. And so that's, they spoke a lot in the documentary about him not really taking a break from work and filming every day and bringing up content and not even being able to process some of these traumas that kind of happened to him through his brother and, you know, his girlfriend that actually, they actually, you know, hooked up sexually while they were all living in the same place, I guess. Having it in Libra, it's not the best place for Mars. Mars is a little bit unhappy in Libra, and it doesn't make moves as quickly as some other planets. It really has to balance and weigh out the decisions, but it seems like with Saturn opposite to it and with Mars square to the Mercury and Venus, maybe there was a little bit of a pressure there to actually, you know, keep just going just because, and to not really even take those breaks for yourself just because work is so important with Mars in the 6th house. Chiron is also something that I notice in Scorpio, 1 degree Chiron. You know, in the first couple degrees of any sign, a planet has a lot, you know, very great impact. Saturn, in the first couple degrees of Aries, it's very powerful, and it's actually in conjunct to Chiron. So, you know, that can be like your father, Saturn, and a wound that you have, Chiron. And they're in conjunct, so they're not relating. You can't have both. You know, you can't have your father and heal your wound at the same time. You really have to choose one. You know, even your work, sometimes Saturn, you're not able to heal yourself. While you're doing work, you know, you'd really need to more so take a break and focus on that wound to be able to heal it. Chiron and Scorpio, you can have a wound that is a secret, someone backstabbing you. It can be a very deep, even like unconscious type of a thing that you don't know how to process. He said that his, you know, brother and his ex-girlfriend that slept together, that was something that was not even, he couldn't even process it. It was so difficult for him to deal with that he just kind of blocked it out. And the wound in Chiron is a deep, difficult wound. You know, I think if anyone's brother went and slept with their ex-girlfriend, you know, that would be something that would not be easy to ever get over. And so, you know, Saturn could even be an older brother. You know, Saturn in conjunct to Chiron, that's maybe a wound. It's just someone that's in charge, responsible, you look up to, you know, maybe somebody who has controlled you through your life. You know, and that wound is something that is probably pretty unforgivable in a way, to sleep with your ex-girlfriend. So I just do see that. And Chiron is in the 7th house on, you know, near the Descendant, so you can see that the wound comes through his relationships, through his partnerships with people. 7th house is the house of your marriage partner and your, not even marriage, I see that a lot, people talk about that a lot today, but I think the 7th house can be marriage, but it can also be just people that you know, people you meet that are more intimate connections, but that you draw into your life just to learn something about yourself. It's kind of a mirroring effect. You know, you bring someone into your life because you can feel connected to them in a way. And a lot of times it's because they can show you a little bit more about who you are, or you like what you see when you're with them, or they can draw out even that negative stuff about you. So having the 7th house in Scorpio and your Descendant there does mean that you will draw an intense partner to you who can even be manipulative, controlling, someone who can, you know, have secrets from you, maybe even be obsessed with you. It seemed like when I was watching the documentary that Alyssa Violet, his ex-girlfriend, was very obsessed with him and really only wanted him. And then when it got to a point where he was cheating on her in front of her face and doing some really nasty things to their relationship, she decided to, you know, do the worst thing she could to him. And Scorpio is really all about revenge, so I could see having your Descendant there, the 7th house, that your partner could really hurt you in a major way. Chiron there too. Now his moon is in Taurus, and this is on his Ascendant in his 1st house. So I do have a moon that is in my 1st house as well, conjunct to my Ascendant in Virgo. So learning about this, you know, having your moon on your Ascendant, I think when people meet you, you can feel warm to them, you can feel very safe, nurturing, you know, you can feel like you kind of want to be around them. You know, people have told me before, my moon on my Ascendant, there was just something about me that they wanted to be around, or that they really like wanted to get to know for some reason. They didn't know what it was, because your moon is really your unconscious needs, your unconscious emotions, and sometimes when it's out there for everyone to see right when they meet you, it doesn't mean that you're just wearing your heart on your sleeve and you're telling everyone about yourself and all of those things, but it's just a rawness and a realness to you, that you just are who you are, and your emotions are, you know, you have emotions. And I think maybe sometimes with this situation for Jake Paul, that, you know, having his emotions like on his face like that for everyone just to see, you know, his dad probably would not, you know, would tell him, you know, don't cry, don't act like that, don't whine, don't go through your feelings, just let it go. And his brother could have maybe bullied him for that too, and, you know, maybe he learned to have more of a fixed emotional state where he just didn't even process things because he just thought it was too much to handle. You know, Moon and Taurus, they are pretty stubborn as well, and they, you know, they just enjoy the luxuries of life. They enjoy peace, they enjoy comfort, they enjoy having a nice, safe home environment. And so when, you know, those things are out of whack, you learn how to guard yourself. Just like anyone in life, your emotions, you learn how to guard them. And, you know, maybe a coping mechanism for him was just not to really feel things and emotions and try and just shut them away. So this is my reading of Jake Paul. It's a mini birth chart reading, and I just saw some really interesting things in there, and after watching the documentary, I thought it would be a good time to put this out. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in a reading, see my email below and my website, and please leave a comment and let me know what you think. Turn on the bell notification so you can see when I upload new videos. Bye guys!